One roar, and just like that, the entire savanna goes quiet. There's no heads up, no second chances. Just this earth-shaking sound that makes even the boldest creatures freeze in their tracks. We're not talking about just another predator here. This is a ruler forged by the harshest conditions nature can throw. This is the full story of the lion, the real king of the jungle. Lions aren't just powerful and feared because they're strong. It's how they live that sets them apart. While most big cats are loners by nature, lions, they chose family. They stick together in groups called prides, which makes them the most social wild cats out there. And that one choice, it changes everything. How they hunt, how they fight, how they make it through each day. It's what separates them from tigers, leopards, and jaguars. Where those cats walk alone through the shadows, lions walk together under the sun. A pride isn't just a random group either. It's a carefully structured family unit, usually made up of related females, their cubs, and a coalition of males who fought hard to earn their place. The females are the backbone. They're born into the pride and typically stay for life, creating generational bonds that run deep. Sisters hunt alongside their mothers and aunts. Cousins grow up together. It's this continuity that makes a pride so resilient. You can spot a male lion from a mile away thanks to that magnificent mane. Sure, it makes him look bigger and more intimidating, but there's more to it than appearances. That mane is like armor, protecting his neck when he's in brutal battles with rival males. It also tells a story about his health and power. A darker, thicker mane? That usually means you're looking at a stronger lion, the kind who wins fights and commands respect. Scientists have discovered that lionesses actually prefer males with fuller, darker manes. It's nature's way of ensuring the strongest genes get passed down. But that mane comes with a cost. It makes the male hotter in the scorching African sun, which is why you'll often see them resting in the shade while the females do most of the hunting. Now, the lionesses? They're built completely differently. Sleeker, faster, more agile, and that makes them absolutely deadly hunters. Without the burden of a heavy mane, they can move with incredible speed and precision. Most of their hunts go down at night or just before sunrise, when it's cooler and the prey isn't as sharp. They work like a well-oiled machine surrounding their target, closing in without a sound, then boom, a sudden, explosive strike. Each lioness has a role. Some are chasers who drive the prey toward others. Some are ambushers who wait in position. The most experienced hunters often take the riskiest positions, going for the final takedown. Their usual targets? Big animals like zebras, wildebeests, buffalo. Sometimes even giraffes, if the pride is desperate enough. A successful hunt comes down to teamwork, perfect timing, and sheer endurance. They have to get close, really close, because unlike cheetahs, lions aren't built for long-distance chases. They rely on short bursts of explosive power. But here's the kicker. Even with all that strength and strategy, lions fail more often than they succeed. Studies show they're successful only about 20 to 30% of the time. Goes to show that out there in the wild, nothing's ever a guarantee. Prey animals have evolved their own survival strategies. Zebras have powerful kicks. Wildebeests have sharp horns. Buffalo travel in massive herds and will even turn to attack when cornered. Once the kill is made, the pride comes together to eat. But there's an order to things. The adult males dig in first, then the lionesses, and the cubs get what's left. Looks harsh, right? But this system keeps the pride functioning, keeps it strong. A well-fed male is in better shape to protect everyone from outside threats. And those threats are constant. Rival males are always lurking, looking for any sign of weakness. Hyenas gather in large clans, bold enough to steal kills or even attack vulnerable cubs. The male's job is to be the shield, and he can't do that on an empty stomach. The lionesses understand this hierarchy. They accept it because they know their survival, and the survival of their cubs depends on having a strong protector. The feeding frenzy itself is intense. There's growling, snarling, shoving. It's not pretty. A large kill like a buffalo might feed the pride for a day or two, but smaller prey disappears quickly. Lions can eat up to 40 kilograms of meat in a single sitting, then go days without food. Their bodies are designed for this feast or famine lifestyle. After a big meal, you'll find them sprawled out in the shade, utterly exhausted, bellies distended, barely able to move. Lion cubs come into the world blind and completely helpless. They rely entirely on their mothers. Each litter usually has 2 to 4 cubs, born after about 110 days of pregnancy. For the first few weeks, they're kept hidden from danger in dense vegetation or rocky outcrops. The mother visits them to nurse, but spends much of her time away, rejoining the pride to hunt. This is a risky period. Cubs are vulnerable to predators like hyenas, leopards, and even male lions from rival prides. Sadly, cub mortality rates are high. It's estimated that less than half survive to adulthood. But as they get bigger, playtime becomes training time. All that chasing, wrestling, and pretend fighting, that's how they learn speed, balance, and coordination, the skills they'll need to survive. They practice stalking each other through the grass. They learn to pounce, to pin, to bite without causing real harm. Play is serious business in the lion world. It builds muscle, tests reflexes, and establishes social bonds. Cubs also learn by watching. They observe hunts from a distance, studying how the adults move, communicate, and coordinate. Around 3 months old, cubs are introduced to the rest of the pride. This is when the real socialization begins. They meet their aunts, older siblings, and the pride males. If the males are the fathers, they're usually tolerant, even gentle. But if new males have taken over the pride recently, the situation becomes dangerous. Male lions who overthrow a pride's leadership often kill existing cubs. It's brutal, but it serves a purpose from an evolutionary standpoint. By eliminating offspring that aren't theirs, the new males bring the females back into breeding condition faster, ensuring their own genes get passed on. For male lions especially, life gets brutal. When they hit maturity, around 2 to 3 years old, they're usually pushed out of their birth pride. Suddenly, they're on their own, exposed and vulnerable, until they get strong enough to challenge another male for control. This period is called nomadic stage, and it's the most dangerous time in a male lion's life. Without the support of a pride, hunting becomes harder. Young males lack the refined skills of experienced lionesses. They often resort to scavenging or targeting smaller, easier prey. Some young males band together with brothers or cousins, forming coalitions. These coalitions are crucial. 2 or 3 males working together have a much better chance of taking over a pride than a single male does. And those battles? They're vicious, sometimes fatal. Males circle each other, manes bristling, roaring warnings. When they finally clash, it's all teeth and claws, each trying to inflict maximum damage while protecting their own vital areas. Fights can last minutes or stretch into brutal endurance tests. Injuries are common. Deep gashes, broken bones, infections that can turn deadly. But if you win, you gain power, mates, and leadership. The catch? It's a 24/7 job with no breaks. The average reign of a male lion lasts only about 2 to 3 years before younger, stronger challengers arrive. It's a short window to father as many cubs as possible and ensure your genetic legacy. A lion's territory can cover massive stretches of land, depending on where the food and water are. In areas with abundant prey, a territory might be relatively small, maybe 20 square kilometers. In harsher environments, it can stretch to 400 square kilometers or more. Defending it means constant roaring, scent marking, and physical fights. That legendary roar? It can be heard from several kilometers away, a clear warning to anyone thinking about crossing the line. Lions roar most often at dawn and dusk, their voices carrying across the plains like thunder. It's not just intimidation, it's communication. Pride members use roars to locate each other when separated. Males roar to announce their presence and deter rivals. Scent marking is equally important. Lions have scent glands, and they mark trees, bushes, and rocks with urine and secretions. These chemical signals tell other lions who controls this territory and how recently they passed through. Patrolling the borders is a daily task. Males walk the perimeter, refreshing scent marks, checking for intruders. It's exhausting work, but necessary. A weak or inattentive pride risks invasion. Despite all their power, lions face serious threats. Habitat loss, clashes with humans, and shrinking prey populations have caused their numbers to drop dramatically. Once roaming across Africa, Asia, and Europe, they're now limited to small pockets of land. Their survival doesn't just depend on strength anymore. It depends on protection and conservation. As human populations grow, we encroach further into lion territories. Farmland replaces grasslands. Livestock grazes where wild prey once roamed. When lions kill cattle or goats, desperate farmers retaliate, poisoning or shooting the predators. It's a conflict with no easy answers. Conservation efforts are underway, but progress is slow. Protected reserves and national parks provide safe havens, but even these aren't foolproof. Poaching remains a problem. Lions are killed for their bones, which are used in traditional medicine in some cultures. Trophy hunting, while controversial, continues in certain countries. Some argue it funds conservation efforts. Others say it's morally indefensible and threatens already vulnerable populations. Climate change adds another layer of complexity. Droughts become more severe, water sources dry up, and prey populations suffer. Lions at the top of the food chain feel every ripple effect. When prey numbers decline, lions must roam further, often bringing them into contact with human settlements. Disease is another threat. Outbreaks of canine distemper and bovine tuberculosis have devastated some lion populations, diseases often transmitted from domestic animals. Yet despite all these challenges, lions endure. They adapt. In some regions, prides have learned to hunt during the day to avoid human activity at night. Others have shifted their diets, targeting different prey species. Conservation groups work tirelessly, using technology like GPS collars to track movements, understand behavior, and identify critical habitats. Community-based programs educate locals about coexistence, providing compensation for livestock losses, and creating economic incentives for protecting wildlife. The lion is more than a hunter. It's a leader, a protector, a parent, and a symbol of balance in nature. Its life is a constant struggle between dominance and vulnerability, power and survival. Every day brings new challenges. Every hunt could be the last meal for days. Every battle could end in death. Yet lions face it all with a kind of regal composure that's earned them their royal title. They embody resilience. They show us what it means to fight for family, to stand your ground against impossible odds, to lead with strength tempered by strategy. And when that roar echoes across the plains once more, it reminds the wild of one simple truth. The king still lives, not because he is cruel, but because he is strong, strategic, and united with his pride. That roar carries weight. It carries history. It carries the promise that as long as there are lions, there will be wildness in this world. Something untamed. Something magnificent. Something worth protecting with everything we have.